Kelly Broken Carnivore here. Welcome to the channel. I want to take a moment in this video talk about a recent comment I got from one of my recent videos that I uploaded. I'm not going to name this person. I'm not going to call them out. It's their opinion, why they believe what they do, believe in what they believe in a science. It's not a negative comment or nothing like that. It wasn't rude, so we don't need to be rude. We don't need to exploit. We don't need to lash out, because this channel here is about being positive and encouraging and have a good attitude. I'm not going to promote any negativity on this channel. Just like a comment, if it's a very hateful, negative comment, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to block you. But we're going to talk about this comment. I'm going to read the comment out, why they believe in it, why they believe in the science of the opposite of carnivore, and why they believe that carnivore diet is dangerous. So let me read this. I'm going to read this comments. And this viewer here said, the carnivore diet, which involves eating only animal products, typically just meat, salt, and water, is often called the dangerous or even deadly by some critics, particularly in context and long-term health. Here's why it can be considered one of the deadliest diets from scientific and public health perspective. We got to remember, this is from, the science and propaganda and all that. So, as we read on, here's number one. It says lack of essential nutrients, no fiber, increased risk of colon cancer, gut, I can't even pronounce this word, diaboliosis, and constipation. No phytonutrients. You will miss out plant antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that predicts against chronic disease. Vitamin C and K1, folate, magnesium, potassium. These are low or missing entirely in all meat diets unless organs are consumed very carefully, and even then not in balanced amounts. 2. Risk of chronic diseases, heart disease. High saturated fat and cholesterol intake can raise LDL, bad cholesterol, a major risk factor for arterial cirrhosis and cardiovascular events. Kidney strain, high protein load, increased nitrogen waste, and can stress kidneys, especially in those with underlying kidney disease. Cancer risk. Processed meats can be classified as group 1 carcinogens, like smoking by the WHO, the World Health Organization. High red meat consumption is associated with colorectal and other cancers. Pro-inflammatory and pro-aging effects. The high methylene and TMAO production, red meat metabolism can generate compounds and promote inflammation and aging. Lack of antioxidants increase oxidative stress and accelerate cellular damage. Gut micro damage. Gut microbiome damage. There we go. Loss of microbial diversity. Fiber food is for the gut bacteria. No fiber, dying beneficial bacteria. Rise in pathogenic species. Meat-only diets fosters biotolerant pro-inflammatory microbes like biophilia and Wadsworthia. I can't pronounce that word. We're just going to leave that alone. Some of these words I can't pronounce, and I'm just going to leave them alone. Number 5. Long-term epidemiological data. Blue zones. This must be talking about epidemiological data. Blue zones, longest living populations, none follow a carnivore diet. In fact, all meats, mostly plants, 85-95% of plant-based. Meta-analysis shows lower mortality with higher intakes of whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables, and higher mortality with more red and processed meats. Number 6, ethical and environmental toll. Indirectly deadly. Environmental destruction. Industrial meat production is major driver of climate change, deforestation, and water pollution. I will get with this one here in a minute, because part of this I do agree with these factory farms. Not a farm like if you see in the background across the road from where I live, that is a cattle farm, and it is nothing like no factory farms or nothing, but there is some effects in the pollution and wastewater from these factory farms, from these big food corporations, these big meat productions, like especially in the poultry and the pork production. There is some effects with cattle feedlots, but a lot of it goes with, with these other factory farms where you have indoor, like the chickens and the pork. Zoonotic disease risk. Close contact with animals increase the risk of pandemics. Well, it can go either way. I don't know, but yes, we can have cross whatever. It happens. But where a lot of the diseases to me comes into a lot of bigger cities, but it happens. But that's part of life. That's called overpopulation. But now, in summary, while some short-term benefits may appear, excessive weight loss, reduce autoimmune flares, carnivore diet is potentially deadly due to nutrient deficiency, long-term cardiovascular cancer risk, and microbiome harm and environmental impact. It defies decades of nutritional science and patterns seen in the healthiest population worldwide. I'm not going to debunk this person, because this person, that's their opinion. Everybody has their right to their opinion. But what I am going to do is I'm going to have my opinion about the carnivore diet, why I feel that this science that is mentioned here is debunked, because there's a lot of no science in there. A lot of this science that I read comes from propaganda, comes from the big food corporations, from the big chemical corporations like Monsanto and all that, to push this. Where we get the issue with cardiovascular and heart disease and all that is because we went back about 70 years ago. We had a president named, I think, Dwight Eisenhower. About in the late 50s, he was president. He had a heart attack. Nobody back then, we ate beef tallow. We didn't have a lot of this stuff. We didn't have chemicals in it, in the foods. We did have highly processed foods. Seed oils were invented by now. They've been invented probably 100 years by now, or almost 100 years, but it remained engine lubricant. Did you know Crisco was actually made by a pharmaceutical in the mid-19s, like 1915, by Procter and Gamble to sell as human consumption? So the debunk on this with the heart disease and all this, we start having the science because, we had someone famous didn't die but had a heart attack. We need to do some changing. Well, here's the thing. Here's my opinion. And I'm going to relate to my family history of heart disease. He smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day. Nobody ever told him. He had a high-stress job. Not only that, he was probably eating a poor American Standard diet issued by the government. I'm going to relate back to my family side. I never developed heart disease. I guarantee I was developing, never was diagnosed with it. I do see a heart doctor every 2 years. The only reason is because my dad died of AFib. At the time, I didn't know about the carnivore diet. I didn't know about keto. I was on the standard diet. Also, for me, that not only my dad had AFib, but if you go back to him when he was young, he smoked cigarettes since he was probably a child, or he started smoking when he was like in his early teens. He worked on the railroad 16 hours a day. He's a high stress job. He drank almost 2 thermoses of coffee. He drank a lot of coffee, a lot of caffeine. Also, he smoked cigarettes. Also, being on the railroad probably constantly, he was also eating a poor standard diet. His brother, my uncle, he had a quadruple bypass. He also had a heart attack. He smoked. He ate a standard diet. He also, he died of, he ended up dying in his mid-70s. I had a stroke. and probably a hemorrhage. My brother was drugs. He had a heart attack, and his heart, he has a bad heart. You know, he needs to take care of it, but his heart is damaged. I'm going to go to myself. Because tomorrow's not promised, we all can die. We don't know when. We should thrive to 120 because I don't think the age in the Bible, I believe what the word of God is. And right after the flood, when we introduce, this is the start of the Israelites, one man and his wife started a nation, Abraham and Sarah. After the flood, God had put us down to 120 years. You know, humans were thriving. You know, even back then, they did eat grains and stuff. And the thing is if we're going to say that the carnivore diet is deadly, and like the existence for me, yeah, I'm thriving. I've been on carnivore diet for 290 something days. I'm getting close to my 1 year mark. I'm like 2 months from my 1 year mark on carnivore. And compared a year ago when I wasn't on the carnivore diet, I was doing keto. I wasn't, and sometimes I wouldn't even was thriving on the keto. I was eating some superfoods, what I thought was healthy. I was eating a lot of spinach. I was eating nuts. I was eating extra virgin olive oil. I was eating a lot of plant-based because thinking this was superfoods. Well, not only that, and then I wasn't stable. Sometimes I get off of it. And this is why I had to go to carnivore diet. I discovered carnivore diet 4 years ago when I started keto. Here's the thing. I'm like a lot of y'all. I thought carnivore is crazy. I'm not doing this. That's a lot of fat. Your cholesterol is going up, but it's just fear. And by then you had people already testifying, like Dr. Barry. This is where I discovered carnivore 4 years ago, was Dr. Barry and his wife, Nisha Barry. You know, Nisha does a lot more ketovore, but she promotes the carnivore diet. I also was watching Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg will also say, I'm fine with the carnivore diet. The reason why he does a clean ketogenic diet is because he can tolerate some veg and he's okay with that. He never had any issues. So he doesn't promote and push that, hey, you can't do carnivore. He says some people may have to do the carnivore diet. I'm one of those that I had to go to the carnivore diet eventually because I wasn't stable. It wasn't stable for me to be on the keto diet. Not only the sugars, even though I was eating monk fruit sweetener or erythritol stuff, and then some of the keto sweets and stuff like that, even though they're keto treats, I still wanted the sugar. And now I don't have that cravings. But also, I work in the trades. I work as a maintenance. I'm a maintenance supervisor in the trades apartment community in Columbia, Missouri. And you're on your feet, especially in the summertime. A year ago, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I did what I needed to do to get done, and I had to sit down. Now I can get up and I can walk. I can walk for hours. Now, I can't stand for a long period of time because I do have plantar fasciitis, or it could be something else in my heel, and eventually I'm going to have to go have it checked out because I can't stand for a long time. But at home, I'm fine with that. Right now, I'm out here. I want to enjoy and record this video here because I wanted to get some grounding, because I think grounding is one of the essential medicines for the human body besides proper nutrition. But I'm going to get back to why the carnivore diet, why I don't believe that it is the deadliest diet. I believe it is one of the safest diets out there. It is one of the ancestral diets. I do believe in the Bible says back in time, originally, I think we were all plant-based. Every animal on earth was plant-based. But also at that time, we had different animals. We had different vegetation. We had different sugar contents. And we had a perfect world. I don't think it was very long after God created man and woman that the fall happened, sin entered the world, and this is where we become carnivores. I do believe where God feels that stupid flies. I believe that through Cain and Abel, this is where God says, hey, you can eat, you can eat meat. Something's got to die, so we all die. So something has to die. So there's a lot of use. We've been eating like this since the beginning of time, ever since the fall of sin. And the reason why I believe if tomorrow's not promised for me and I die, this is because the reason why I feel that if tomorrow's not promised for me and I die, that's because it's not from the carnivore diet. It's from probably complications from past habits, the standard diet, eating the wrong stuff, eating natural, in natural food, ultra processed food like seed oils, fast food that's fried in seed oils, sugar. And not only that, I smoked for 9 years from the age of 19 to probably the 9 years after that. And then I quit for 9 years, and I don't know why I started, but I started back, but I didn't smoke very long. But then I picked up chewing, and I developed severe health issues like high blood pressure. I developed erectile dysfunction. And it's not fun when you shouldn't have this issue, and when you have that, it is a serious issue. Did you know that we have younger generations, even younger? I'm 46 years old. I had that at 40. That was 6-7 years ago. There's kids and young men that's got it now at the age of 17, 18, 19. That should be the time that the testosterone should be the highest for their development and stuff. And because of the plastics and the microplastics and all the junk we have today, tomorrow's not promised. We're all risking at cancer. But as a carnivore, I feel better. Like, I can pack a refrigerator, pull a refrigerator up the stairs by myself, and I had no problem. Usually I couldn't be able to do that. I usually have to have help. I know the bigger appliances, yes, but the small appliances, I had no problem. I can actually put in a full day's of work without any problems. So the carnivore diet is like all the inflammation in my body is not there. I have a little plantar fasciitis. I do have a hip that's not functioning right. I can't bend. I can't do things on my right side as I can on my left side. But the one thing about being on carnivore for me, that not only that I lost almost 60 pounds, but I can sleep better. I can focus better. My skin is glowing better. I don't burn. Now my skin gets red when I'm out in the sun, but it doesn't burn. It's like it may get red, but the next day it's already tan. I'm noticing now my eyes distance is starting to improve. I notice a little bit of my hair color is coming back. I noticed that not only the weight and all that, but also my blood pressure is lowering. Like, I had dropped my blood pressure I originally started with 10. I was at 5. Now I'm at 2.5, and I'm going to give it a trial here all summer without the medicine, and I'm going to monitor my blood pressure, and I'm going to see where it's at. Yes, there's one thing I do agree with the LDL, because it's saturated fat. High fat will have higher cholesterol. What I'm going to debunk about the cholesterol, because they always want to talk about LDL, it's the bad cholesterol. I don't think our bodies produce bad and good cholesterol. What our bodies do produce is either good or bad, is based on what we eat in fats. If you're going to eat a natural based fat with butter and ghee and tallow and render lard, not the stuff from Armour, but the 100% render lard, natural render lard, I wouldn't recommend avocado oil or extra virgin olive oil for cooking, but for, if you want to make mayo, homemade mayo, avocado oil be fine, as long as it's not cooked. I think if you heat it, it does oxidize just like seed oil, and you're going to have more of your omega-6 to omega-3. Coconut oil is another good one, because if you go into regions that are primary tropical, their primary diet is fish and coconut. Fish is very lean. How are they going to cook? They cook with a very coconut oil. These people thrive. The one thing I'm going to debunk about this, a lot of this science here that I just read off talks about is propaganda to be pushed on us saying that these saturated fats is wrong. We need to be on a low fat, high carb, high sugar diet with whole grains from agriculture, because they think that we should be eating this because the propaganda, these business, big food, big pharma, they want us to be sick. And with this diet, I believe, that we can thrive, no problem. And the other thing I want to debunk about the science, and a lot of you all know, that watches my videos, some of them may not, but if carnivore diet is so dangerous, why are there people thriving on it? Not only ones that are testifying here on YouTube or social media platforms, but also off the scenes, behind the scenes, people are thriving. They're testifying how different the carnivore. There's doctors are changing their minds, knowing that, oh, this does work. People are working good. This is the way it goes. There's doctors that are pushing this, saying that, are not pushing, but they're promoting it through their testimony why they are carnivores. And most of all, people are thriving. Did you know that there's an 84-year-old rancher named Maggie that lives in Canada, been on doing the carnivore for 60-some years, over 60 years. This woman, I saw bits of Kerry Mann's documentary. He shows little clips here and there. And he was showing Maggie, she's climbing fences, she's doing this, she's working her cattle, she runs circles around me. I'm 46 years old. This woman is 83, 84 years old. She can run circles around me. I think she can run circles around my children, and they are in their teens and early 20s. So if it's deadly, why is she still alive and thriving? The other thing is there's a guy in Florida, been carnivore for 40 years plus, and he did this despite of his dad, but he's testifying because he saw a world of difference in him. He's almost 60 years old. There's Kelly Hogan. She's been a carnivore since 2009. She's been a carnivore probably as long as my youngest daughter's been alive. And so if it's deadly, if it is deadly and that's true, we wouldn't promote that diet. I wouldn't promote that. I'm not going to promote some kind of diet is going to cause harm. I'm going to promote something through my testimony that is thriving and going to be 1 year and 2 months. I'm doing better today than I did a year ago. I'm getting ready to go on a mission trip, and I'm looking forward to it because last year I was discouraged because I couldn't be able to do nothing or hardly because I was hurting. This hip was bothering me. I had to sit down a lot, and I was discouraged. I was getting angry and discouraged on a mission trip. And this was about building a home for God. And all I was thinking about is like, this is hurting. I'm tired of this. And right underneath my nose was the solution. Try carnivore. So if you're one of those people that are wanting to try it, but you have the fear saying, oh, it's they said it's dangerous. Sometimes we'll have to take our health in our own hands. Sometimes we have to do it ourselves. And my suggestion is, if you want to try it for 30 days, just for 30 days. See how you do, see how you feel. And then from there, you go from that. Another thing I would recommend, if you think it's too expensive, I will tell you that it's not. Don't go and you don't have to go buy ribeyes and all the expensive meats. I don't eat ribeyes all the time. I think it's too expensive when it comes to that. A lot of the people on carnivore don't eat steaks all the time. If they can, they do every now and then. But a lot of people like me that's on a budget, or if you're on a budget, they eat it. As Dr. Berry says, if it's hot dogs and bologna, it's better than having a bowl of cereal or a candy bar. How about this? He has a diet. Everybody uses it. I eat it all the time. It's called beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Just try that. You don't even have to have pasture-raised eggs. They can get expensive. Eggs has gone way down. An egg is an egg. It's better to eat the pasture-raised egg because the chicken's getting the proper nutrition. But if not, get the cheap eggs. It's better than a candy bar. Bacon, it's there's nothing in it. Yeah, there's added sugar, but the sugar has been eaten up by the curing process. That's why there is sugar. It's to help feed the curing process. And ground beef is one of the cheapest, more affordable things. And if you want to change it up, get a chuck roast, put it in a crock pot, braise it, whatever it is, eat chuck steak. There's a lot more affordable ways to eat. I did a recent video, and I will put it at the end of this video so you can link on that. I have a meal laid out that only costs $8.35. So if you get a chance, watch that video. Like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. I hope this video helped. And if you like this information, please hit that like button, comment, and share it, because we need to share about this carnivore diet, because if more we get it out there, the more that people are aware that this diet is not deadly, it's not dangerous. Now, that comment that I did read, that is their opinion, and we're not going to bash them or anything like that. That is their opinion, and they believe in that. My opinion is that the carnivore diet is not deadly. I have been on it for almost a year. So if you want to try it for 30 days, do it affordable. You may do 3 meals a day. Eventually just go down to, 1 or 2. Eventually you get that way. Don't starve yourself. Eat until you're comfortably stuffed. Don't eat until you're hungry. That's the way Dr. Berry says. So y'all have a great day. God bless.